All right, welcome back to Chill 4x4. Bit of a different video today. The Colorado's just ticked over 100,000 kilometers, so I've figured I'd do a little bit of a rig rundown for you. I've owned the car for about 7 years now. Bought it with 56,000 kilometers on it, and it's a 2014 Holden Colorado RG. It's the mid model, which I think is a LX. LS is the base model, and then LTZ's the top of the range. But yeah, over that time, it's been through quite a few different iterations. Started off camping out of the tub, and yeah, obviously now got the canopy and made multiple changes throughout its life. But we'll get into the modifications that I've done to it and what I think of them. So up the front, the bar work, I've got a TJM chaser bar. It was actually the first install in WA when it first came out, which is pretty cool. It's single hoop bar with decent approach angles so you don't get hung up. I've got the TJM chaser lights mounted within that bull bar. That sort of use them as parking lights, or if you're driving around full driving at night, it just lights up the side of the track nicely. In the bull bar, I've got a Runva 11XP winch, which I've only used it to launch the boat when it's muddy. Haven't had to use it to pull me out of trouble yet, but it's definitely worth having. It just gives you that little sense of security. The headlights I've changed to Superior Vision. Went through multiple different iterations of eBay lights, LEDs, but just don't waste your time. Go straight to Superior Vision, and yeah, you'll be more than happy with them. They do a full headlight and a high beam and parking light conversion, and you can even do the light inside, the map light I think they call it. Now onto the engine bay and mods that I've done there. So I've got a Axis Fab snorkel, the Stano. I've got a Pacico aftermarket airbox. The Colorados are renowned for cracking their plastic airbox just because they get over-tensioned when you change the air filter. From there, I've got an in-house fabrication custom stainless intake pipe. The Colorado's got a plastic intake pipe, and I did see a few people on the Club RG page where that plastic would crack over time, and then obviously the plastic goes through the turbo and you're up for quite an expensive repair. So I figured I may as well change it out and have that peace of mind. The one thing is, the combination of the stainless intake pipe, the aftermarket airbox, and the Stano snorkel, the induction noise is, yeah, it's pretty noisy. I used to love driving with the window down. That's not an option anymore. I just pretty much always leave that window up now. Now back on a factory turbo. I started getting turbo open circuit codes when I had the gated one. I think the VNT module was playing up just with how it was cable tied out the way. So I'm now back on the factory turbo, and I did try the Garrett Power Max, but that was surging really bad. So we're back on the factory turbo with plus 30 injectors, and it's making 250 horsepower and 670 newton meters of torque. Had that tuned by the guys down in Port Kennedy, modified diesel. Definitely recommend going to see Adam and the boys there. They're pretty good at what they do. He's seen my car a few times now. Continuing on, I've got PDI, intercooler and piping. They're a Perth-based company and make some good gear. So yeah, PDI, intercooler. I've got a Redback Turboback 3-inch exhaust and Direction Plus pre-filter and a HBD catch can. I mean, the catch can, it does get a little bit of oil. You can get different brands, but HBD was what I got, and it seems to be working fine. So it's staying in. Moving on to suspension and what's under the car. So I've got Whiteline sway bar links. I did have Super Pro, but they flogged out within 2 months, and I was barely driving the car. So they went, and Whiteline have gone in and haven't had a problem since. I've got a diff drop, the Superior Billet upper control arms. I did have all-terrain industry adjustable upper control arms, and most people will know that brass knuckle that you use to adjust ends up slipping and you end up damaging your rims and your upper control arms. So don't waste your time with them. I've got superior billet upper control arms. I've got Aisin freewheeling hubs. Don't go with any other brand, the Hulk or whatever. You end up they end up breaking. I had a pair of Hulks break on me, which was a little bit annoying because you have to change them out in the bush. Tire wise, I'm running Falcon Wild Peaks. I think they're ATW3s. They're 285 7017. So I did have to get the body mount chopped, which is mod plated. There's a company north of the river in Perth that do it. I think they might be the only one that do the mod plate in Perth for that, at least that I've seen. I do get a little bit of scrubbing on the guards when I'm full lock articulating through the bush. So I've tried to improve that as best as I can, but they do scrub just a little bit. And then I've got Monster Ammo plus 17. The zero offset, which I had before, was scrubbing a lot worse. So with plus 17, yeah, they're a lot less scrubbing, so that's good. Suspension, I'm running Outback Armour Expedition, 2.5 lift in the front and 500 kilos in the rear. The 500 kilo springs were doing really well with the canopy and the water tank and all the rest of it at the start. They are starting to get a little bit tired, so I put Airbag Man airbags in. I'll do a separate video about the airbags. Super easy install, and I've done some chassis bracing to go with that because I don't want to end up breaking the back of the Colorado. So yeah, I'll do a separate video on that one. I've got Legend X sliders. They look good, they do the job. So yeah, not much more to say there. And then at the back I've got the X bar rear bar. It just looks tidy, it's nice and high, it fits well with the canopy. So that's what I've got. And I've got a ARB, the Poly long range fuel tank. So I think I got 110 litres, which definitely makes the difference when you're doing some long distance remote travel. Onto the roof, I've got a Rhino rack with the backbone system. It just looks tidy, and then that allowed me to also mount the steady roof lights in the backbone system. Don't use those lights as much anymore now that I've got the awning, but still good to have when you're doing something out to the side of the car. On the roof racks, I've got 4 Max Tracks and the Starlink up there. So that keeps everything out of the way. The awning wise, as I was saying, I've got a Bushwhacker 270 awning. Used to have the Motop awning, but I really wanted the D rear entry just for getting into the rooftop tent at night. It was a bit of a pain having to pack down the awning every night, and now with the lights that are built into the awning, it lights up the area a whole lot better. I've also got 2 light bars, one in the bull bar, I think it's a King's actually, and then on the roof I've got a Steady Slim light bar mounted to the roof rack. So when I'm driving at night I can see all the cattle on the road. I've done a separate video about the canopy, but it is a MW jack off canopy. I've never jacked it off, even though I've gone through the effort of making all the wiring removable, but I've never jacked it off in what, 3 years that I've, or coming up to 3 years now that I've had it, and yeah, can't fault it. It's sort of mid-range price and it's done everything that I've needed. 40 litre headboard water tank and a trundle drawer at the back, which makes all the difference in terms of storage. I've got a full Renogy 12 volt setup. I've done a separate video of that on the channel, but again, can't fault the Renogy gear. It's sort of on the budget end, but this the new vision system, the smart vision system, it's pretty cool being able to switch everything from a touchscreen, and then you've got sort of your core, your hub, where you can see what everything's doing. So definitely would recommend. I got all my gear from Simply Solved Caravans over east, and yeah, Adam helped me out there. Moving on, I've got a ARB dual compressor in the toolbox behind me here, and that's powering the airbags, and I've got a front rear locker fitted by ARB. I've got Motop 120, I think it's a Gen 5. It was the one before they come up with the Motop Plus, Motop Max or whatever the new one is. Again, can't fault it. Do hear people complaining about having issues with mold. I've had zero issues with it. The one thing I did change, I've now got a 100mm Clark rubber, I think it's a double mattress, and it fits perfectly widthways. It's a little bit short lengthways, but that allows you to store your pillows or whatever else. Keep my bedding up there full time, keep my pillows up there full time, and yeah, can't go wrong there. Got the alley table mounted under the rooftop tent. I just made up some packers, and then it slides in on some rubber, and I've got a little latch there. But I covered that in the Fortescue River Part 1, I think it was called Bush to Beach. So if you want to see that, go check out that video. On the roof of the Motop rooftop tent, I've got a kick-ass 350 watt panel. This is the first trip using it. It's not putting in as much as I would have liked. It's putting in about 170 watts now. It's 9:30, so it might, as the sun comes up, it might get up to 200. I'm gonna shoot them an email and just see if that's what I should be expecting out of it, because I mean, to me, a 350 watt panel, you should see closer to 300, if not the 350 that they claim. So bit of a shame, because it is quite a big panel and fairly heavy, but yeah, I'll send them an email and or maybe post on one of the Facebook groups and see what everyone else is getting with that. And then I've got a kick-ass shower tent mounted on a swing out bracket on the other side of the car. But that's all the modifications that I've done. If you've got any questions about them, leave them down below, but I'll go over some of the issues that I've had. So first issue I had was I fitted my own diff breathers and took a few shortcuts and ended up getting water in the diff. So the rear diff had to get rebuilt. Wasn't a full rebuild, I got pretty lucky with the damage there. So I did have to get the diff rebuilt, but that was my fault, and they fitted the diff breathers properly now. So that's all good. The heater core went when I got back from the Gib, or maybe just before the Gib, the heater core went. So yeah, had to get that replaced, which is the whole dash out. It was quite a big job to fix, but that's all sorted now. And then my EGR cooler cracked, which caused me to lose all my coolant, so had to get that heater core replaced. But nothing overly major, a few minor issues in that time. But overall, very happy with the Colorado. Don't see too many of them getting around full driving. A lot more D-Maxes and Rangers now, especially, well, obviously now that they don't make them. But definitely, you think they're an underrated car for, like, you can pick these up for in the 20s, and they're quite a capable full drive. So anyway, I think that'll wrap up the Colorado overview. If you've got any questions about the modifications that I've made or anything like that, leave it down below. But yeah, give the video a like, and thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.